Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen.
It is Friday, October 19th, and we are here for the show that we've been talking about for months.
I cannot wait to go ahead and explain all this stuff. It is
And,
awesome.
man, I am Johnny Real,
I'm Edward Silverscreen.
and we are here for the 8th episode of our podcast. It is the Cine-Men movie podcast, and we are covering the 2018 edition of Halloween. So, if you're listening to this, we are 60 seconds in. This episode is spoiler heavy.
Yes.
So, if you don't want to know what happens,
Earmuffs, children.
by the time you listen to this, the movie had been out for a week. So I hope that you guys have went out and checked out this movie already.
Something, yeah, definitely. Because this, I've got to say, I was excited beforehand, but our excitement, I think, was undercut. I think it was definitely, we should have been more excited for that matter. Because it did wonderful in my opinion. It really did.
Man, this movie has everything that we had hoped for. It was literally like this. It's hard to say that a podcast can have a Super Bowl-esque show, if you will. I know I'm probably overhyping it, but this so far to what we've been covering, this has been our Super Bowl so far. This show is everything we've talked about. We've talked about the original Halloween. Go back in the archives.
Yep.
At Spotify and Podbean and YouTube. That's in our archives. You can listen to it anytime you want to.
Oh, yeah.
This movie was simply just, it was horrific. It was everything you want in a 2018 Halloween.
Let's just say that since they actually are erasing the history of this entire franchise, basically up until number 1, this was a definite gratuitous sequel, I would say, a definite justice to the original. So I
and if you didn't catch it, if you didn't catch it before, this is Mr. Sandman from the Cordettes, and I'm very sad to announce the first spoiler of the show. This song wasn't in the movie.
Well, I mean, they probably were wanting to get away from a little bit of the old-timey nuances. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, you cannot go wrong with the score. John Carpenter pushed everybody's shit with this score. It was amazing. I mean, the guitars that he followed with the, little... oh, man. Those little guitar riffs were just amazing when Michael would stand on the scene. Just, oh.
Yeah, I did appreciate the newer kind of... score in the film. It was an updated score. The beginning was an updated Halloween song.
Let's talk about the beginning. That pumpkin, that was awesome. I like that. It's like it was breathing new air into
an old moldy flat pumpkin.
Basically, yeah. I mean, literally it actually was a crushed pumpkin that had just rotted, and it kind of played in reverse, and they just brought it back to life. And for a lot of people who don't understand the actual pumpkin, the meaning of the pumpkin, if you look on the right side of, like, if you cut the pumpkin in half and look on the right side, the nose and the from basically camera left eye, so stage left eye.
The best way to describe it is we'll post the photo of the pumpkin.
Yeah.
And then you can just right now tell them what does it look like? What kind of shape is in there?
So basically, the stage left eye is Michael's head, and then the nose is basically his blade, like the handle, and then to the blade, to where part of the mouth is his arm. So that's, for anybody who doesn't know that's part of that.
Some honorable mentions here. That a big shout out to Rockstar.
Definitely.
Because we have waited 8 weeks, and I'm proud to say that Rockstar will be the official logo of the first episode in November, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Also, a big shout out to Eagle One Pizza. Thank you, and we're proud to say that you're the official pizza of the Cine-Men movie podcast.
Definitely. Good stuff
Also,
out there.
do not forget, if you don't know where to look by now, we are at Facebook. Search Movie Reels, MovieReelz 405 at Facebook. There you can find us on Podbean. You can find us on YouTube. And last week we are proudly able to announce that we are on Spotify. So we are out there. There's no way you can miss us. You can download Spotify on your iTunes Store or Google Play. YouTube, I'm sure everybody has that app already. Podbean is free. You can find all those links on the Facebook website. A look back, though, at last week's episode Scream.
Yeah.
I got nothing but good messages all day today about how good Scream is.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, and I mean, there's been people, liking the page and posting it and all that stuff, so thank you to everybody. We want to go ahead and say that, truthfully, I think it's been Scream is our, Nightmare on Elm Street so far is our number 2 episode. Most popular episode, and then the most popular so far has actually been The Shining, our second episode officially. So thank you to all the listeners, thank you to everyone still going out, thank you to anyone who's listened to it twice or more than twice for that matter, heck, more than once. That's awesome. Thank you.
Another tidbit here is we would like to say that if you listen to this on Spotify, you should have a ad before and after the show. Those are just from other few small Spotify sponsors. We thank them as well. This show has gotten huge over the past
just a couple
2
months.
Weeks.
The
growth that we've had in the 2 weeks have been unreal. But still, we want to know how everybody's doing out there. We want to know exactly what you guys think of the show. But by all means, let us know what you like and what you don't like, and just continue to be interactive.
Definitely
on that Facebook page.
Yeah, because truly that's what we're running a lot of this stuff out. So if you can go ahead and just, mention your favorite movie franchise. I think we've done that once, but we did have a few replies. I think it was horror though, so we didn't do all franchise. But now that we are actually, I think we've got this one, and then the bonus episode with Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead episode will drop before this one does.
Yes.
So by the time you listen to this,
Evil Dead will have been out.
Yes.
So definitely. So since we are switching gears, post comments once we post the Indiana Jones poster. Post comments about your favorite franchise, for that matter, whether it be horror, comedy, action, adventure, thriller, whatever it is, romance, rom-coms, love interest, whatever it is. Post it, let us know. Maybe we might even get a few ideas from you for next year.
And don't forget that we have plenty of shirts coming up. We have mugs. We are going to be doing giveaways. I still have the ET digital 4K copy that will be getting ready to be handed out in the next, hopefully, few weeks. The Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark will be one of our bigger shows. So I am looking to, with that being a sponsored show, I will most likely give away E.T. on that show.
There we go. It's always a classic. Drew Barrymore's, I think, first movie, in fact. And she was actually a part of the last, Scream podcast, for that matter.
And then a little side note, just a little heads up. If you guys are on Twitch, if you guys are into video games, and you guys follow Twitch and follow a bunch of people who like to play video games on Twitch, just check out my friend. Craig is on Twitch at twitch.tv/arc3_arc. He's a good friend of mine who has an upcoming charity event on November the 3rd. We will do anything for charity. We love charity.
Definitely.
It's going to help with the Children's Miracle Network of Oklahoma. He streams all types of video games, from sports to shooters to RPGs. I believe he's on. He does it all on PlayStation 4. I think he does some PC games as well. So, any donation will make a difference. It's all 100% donated to them. We actually know someone personally who was helped through the foundation. $5, or even just sharing the post to get the word out.
Definitely.
Go check out his stream or any of the thousands of other streamers because they're all helping with the cause. So, man, help that out. I'll be sharing some more information on the Cine-Men movie podcast page. I shared it last Monday. As we get closer to November, I'm definitely going to keep sharing it some more. So don't just think about video games during this time. Think about the kids. And this is a great cause, great charity. You can also find him on the Cine-Men podcast page. Left a recommendation. Craig Waters. You can also message him and find out some more information that way. But he is on Twitch, and it is at twitch.tv/3_arc. So go ahead and check that out. Alright, we are back here with a little segment that we like to call Movie News. And what we're talking about today, a very happy Halloween. Thursday night previews for Halloween, $7.7 million for just the opening night.
That's not bad. I've heard they're actually wanting to make $70 million for the opening weekend.
That is $7.7 million for just opening night. The Bradley Cooper movie only did a million.
Wow. Okay, so A Star is Born.
First Man, I think, only did $1 million as well.
Dang.
Yeah.
Halloween, and they're trading punches with the big boys.
Another news, Dwayne Johnson's Jungle Cruise to be released later on, pushed back 9 more months.
Dang. Someone get hurt, I guess? Probably.
So, I don't know. Honestly, this might have something to do with The Rock maybe being physical in the WWE soon. I know they're trying to get him for either the Survivor Series in November or WrestleMania in New York City in April. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Season 10. Looks like it'll be coming back to TV. Finally begins production.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like you did say earlier, like you touched on, Halloween looks like it's on pace for $78 million opening weekend.
Ooh, not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, actually, heard. Have you seen the trailer for Aladdin?
The trailer for Aladdin did drop since the last episode.
I think in May is when it's coming out, 2019.
There is big rumors on the Avengers 4 possibly being called Annihilation.
I've seen that because it was a leak and then it was almost automatically deleted like an hour or two later. Hey, it happens.
Also, it looks like we saw a few trailers in the theater while we were watching Halloween. And what's some that you're interested in? I know seeing Escape Room.
Yeah, that one was actually a little inventive. I like that. I really do. Just look it up. Escape Room. Basically, like it's like
you can go to IMDb right now. It's right there. Escape Room official trailer is in, and it looks.
I think it looks pretty good.
It does. Also, what you mentioned earlier,
Glass. Man,
that new trailer looks good.
Combining Unbreakable and Split, for that matter, with James McAvoy, Samuel L. Jackson, and, of course, Bruce Willis, of course. So, combining all those three in M. Night Shyamalan's universe, I guess you'd say. So,
and then some other honorable mentions in theaters right now that's getting tremendous reviews. It's got almost an 8 on IMDb. Bad Times at the El Royale.
Oh yeah, with Chris Hemsworth.
Is huge right now in theaters and in the box office, starring Jeff Bridges, Dakota Johnson, John Hamm, Chris Hemsworth. What a friggin' cast that is.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, Dakota Johnson just coming off of the 50 Shades of Grey series. You know, Chris Hemsworth still going strong with Avengers. I mean, come on, Jeff Bridges. If you don't know him, come on.
So, we got the plugged in. We're on Facebook. We are now on Spotify. So there's no running from the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Oh no, we're like Michael Myers. No matter how fast you run, we will walk faster. Simple. Sorry, doesn't matter.
So also, we'll do a little segment that we called Recent Watches. Ed, I know you just recently watched, obviously, Halloween today.
Well, right, definitely.
The 2018 one. I caught up on... last week I told you guys I watched the entire franchise, Halloween. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street, 1 through 7. Recently, I did watch Rob Zombie's Halloween, the first one.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of that with you.
Not as bad as I remember. Again, it was one of those that I don't think it needed to be that gory. I don't even think it needed as many sex scenes. And the thing that really spelled Rob Zombie was the drunk in the wheelchair.
One thing that
Didn't care for that at all.
One thing that I noticed though was I didn't at first realize that Jamie Strode or Jamie Jamie Strode, the niece, was in that movie. I didn't realize that until the other day. I was like, dang, that's pretty cool.
Oh, Danielle Harris.
Yeah, Danielle Harris.
Danielle Harris
Jamie Strode. Well, in the original franchise.
She was in Halloween 4 and 5.
Yeah.
She was in Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. She was also in See No Evil 2.
Oh, really? Huh. So a little bit of screen queen action for
her. Recently also watched The Purge, the first Purge. Mm-hmm. Not Purge 1. The first Purge, the one that just came out a few days ago on Blu-ray.
Oh, there you go.
Not bad. Yep. I enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the better Purges. I think they could do one of those a month or one of those a year, and I mean everything could be so different.
Yeah, they have definite, kind of an indefinite amount of angles they could go at,
right,
and ways they could actually make that series strong.
And then what we're here to cover today, we saw Halloween 2018, and we will go ahead and throw a small trailer up for you.
Halloween 1963 in Haddonfield, Illinois. 6-year-old Michael Myers murdered his own sister in cold blood. But it was 15 years later, on Halloween 1978, that the legend of the Myers murders was born. Having escaped protective custody, Michael returned to Haddonfield, where he brutally massacred the occupants of a neighborhood home, leaving teenager Laurie Strode as the sole survivor.
So, Laurie, after all these years, what do you think possessed Michael to go on this killing spree?
You don't believe he's a boogeyman? Well, you should. In this town, Michael Myers is a myth. A ghost story to scare kids. This boogeyman is real. Now he's back.
Michael Myers escaped.
He is a killer. But he will be killed tonight.
Can you close the door?
So that is exactly what we're covering today, is the 2018 Halloween, written by David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, directed by David Gordon Green. You might know him for directing Prince Avalanche, Halloween 2018. He also directed a few episodes of Eastbound and Down, Stronger. He also directed The Sitter, Your Highness, and most notably and more famous for Pineapple Express.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how both are comedic background.
I think that's what you need sometimes in today's horror, because you get a little bit of that. Those few, when there is a small bit of comedy in that movie, you remember the comedy.
Right.
And we'll touch up on that in a little bit with one of the comedic scenes in the theater that had me dying.
Yeah, I looked over at you. You could not stop laughing for a solid at least 45 seconds.
Also starring Jamie Lee Curtis as she reprises her role as Laurie Strode. Judy Greer is playing her daughter, Karen. She is in Ant-Man as Maggie. She was in 13 Going on 30. She was, her name was Karen in Jurassic World. She was also in 27 Dresses. So she's been in quite a few popular movies.
Definitely.
So
She's definitely gotten out there.
also Will Patton plays Officer Hawkins, who most famously is in Remember the Titans as the defensive coordinator for Denzel Washington. He was also in Armageddon. So a cast that definitely is not terrible.
No, has some flexes in there.
It's a very solid cast, exactly what you want for this kind of movie, and it doesn't drag either. Rob Zombie's Halloween dragged so bad for me because it was 2 hours. Halloween 2 that Rob Zombie did was like 2 hours and 15 minutes, so that drags. But this Halloween only ran an hour and 46 minutes, give or take. That's including the credits, so about an hour and 38 minutes.
Yeah, it didn't drag at all. It literally had pretty good pace. I'd say I would say it's got a great pace. Simple as that. Had you turning almost all the time, and then all of a sudden, a kill or a little bit more of the story would come out, or something would happen. Basically,
as we're breaking down this Halloween 2018 episode, it is also good to say that the writer, Danny McBride, has also written some few episodes of Eastbound and Down. He was a producer on This Is the End. He was also a producer on Pineapple Express. But he's starting to write a lot more serious movies. A lot more serious scripts.
The White-tailed Deer Hunter, I know he did that. And on, there's been a few of them that he's done simple. But, this one was one of, I think, the more, if not the only true serious one he's done.
We're going to go into a new segment, a brand new segment that we like to call Did You Know? Usually throughout the podcasts that we've done in our archives, in our past episodes, you've noticed that we give you little interesting facts and tidbits throughout the episode. But today, we are going to have a new segment. We're going to go ahead and put all those informations and some of those tidbits in a short segment, get those out of the way, and then we can start talking about all things Halloween 2018.
Alright, so one big thing was that it actually... What's funny is that it was filmed in North Carolina.
So it actually looks like it's autumn.
Right, so, kind of a Midwest, not Midwest, Southwestern-ish community. Basically, like even the psychiatric ward.
Smith's Grove is where he's locked up at. So everything about the way this is supposed to look is like a fallish type cool movie. That's exactly what it looks like finally in North Carolina. Also, we'll throw some information out there too, is like some Easter eggs that you probably don't know. Before we say anything else, spoiler alert for the rest of the episode. There's a scene where Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter, who is Allison, played by Andy Machka, and then Michael Myers, the Shape, was played by James Jude Courtney. And then we're going to touch on some fantasy booking right quick, or on this segment of things to know. It also says played by Nick Castle.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they've officially released it unless you look up, the spoilers. But I'm going to give my little guess that there's a scene and the scene's in the trailer, where he's looking at Jamie for the first time in the movie, and she has her eyes on him for the first time with his mask on in the movie.
Right.
And she shoots the mirror, and I think that scene might be played by Nick Castle.
Definite possibility.
We are going to do our double check, and we will post on the Facebook site. So, in other Easter eggs that I saw, this is all my just fantasy booking right now, but I think I saw Josh Hartnett's
camping gear
in the top of the closet where
Rick.
Laurie Strode's daughter's husband, Rick, was crunched up. Jamie Lee Curtis opened up the closet door, and I think it looked like his camping gear when he was wanting to go to Yosemite.
Man, that was pretty cool. I also seen the actual 3 masks from Season of the Witch.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen those 3
The
on
3
the kids
masks from
real quick.
Season of the Witch are in there as well.
So that was pretty cool. Overall, this movie was pretty damn good.
So we're going to get into our next segment, which is something we like to call our top 5. This week on our top 5, we are doing top 5. Before I get into this, we already did our top 5 Halloween movies. We already did our top 5 horror movies. So this week, we are doing our top 5 movies to watch during Halloween season. It doesn't have to be scary.
Right.
It doesn't have to be blood and guts and all that kind of stuff. These are simply 5 movies that you have to watch when October the 1st hits. So it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be scary. It's just a Halloween kind of movie that
Right.
puts you in that mood during the fall season.
Right. Or
So-
even a fall movie for that matter.
Mr. Silver Screen, if you'd like to go first.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly,
And kind of, let me cut you off here just a quick second. Give a little brief, not description of the movie, because obviously we're all pretty sure that we know most of these movies.
yeah.
But give maybe a small backstory about why it might be one of those movies for you.
Oh, definitely. Honestly, I was gonna come up with a couple of those because one is actually very
So
near and dear to my heart. Really.
if you want to go 5 to your best or your favorite, we'll go ahead and cut that in now.
All right. Honestly, The Conjuring. This one basically just. Honestly, it kind of freaks me out a little bit just because of some of the paranormal stuff that happens, some of the actual imagery, I guess you'd say. Basically about it. Liked the movie, liked the franchise. Was a bit disappointed with The Nun, but other than that, pretty good overall. Number 3, I would definitely have to say Halloween Town, which that's even
Good Disney Channel classic.
yeah, definitely. Grew up when I was a kid watching this, so it was always cool for me. Which yes, we realized you changed it from 1 and 2 to 3. We realized.
You can also get Halloween Town 1 and 2 in a double pack on DVD
I've seen that.
at Walmart for just $10.
I seen that. That was pretty cool. So yeah, we noticed that you changed. So yeah, we know. Number 3 actually. I'm sorry. I'm going to say Hocus Pocus, another Disney one. But I grew up on some Disney movies, so hey, whichever. Everybody knows the Sanderson sisters. Everybody knows Max and Binks and
Especially
Allison.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Everybody knows that. She wants her little children to come and play with her. Well, anyways, moving on. The strong number 2 in my mind, and this has the sentimental reasons. The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. My mother. It was funny. My mother actually always watched this when I was younger, and watched it, I guess, when she was younger too, because it's been out quite a while, quite a long time now. But yeah, I always like to try and catch that when I can. Simple as that. It's always a nice little classic kind of chill throwback that you can introduce to your kids to it once they're 3, 4, whatever. Pretty easy on the ears, pretty easy on the eyes. And then probably my favorite, just because A, time of the year, B, just seen the new one, and I feel that one's going to be a annual watch, but the original 1978 Halloween. And the reason being is just because it's one that I've grown up watching with you. It's one that I've honestly been introduced to in the entire horror genre, basically. So definitely a favorite. Got to be.
So
How about yours, Mr. Real?
my top 5 movies to watch during the Halloween season. Number 5 for me would be A Nightmare Before Christmas. Because who doesn't like Jack Skellington? And
There
then
you go.
I love Christmas movies, and I get to watch some Christmas early with A Nightmare Before Christmas. Also, my wife likes A Nightmare Before Christmas, and she threatened to kill me if I didn't put that on some kind of list. Number 4 for me would be Ghostbusters, for the simple fact that my dad loved the Ghostbusters, and he would get out of the shower wearing nothing but his robe, singing that damn song, and we watched that movie all the time. So Ghostbusters is on my list.
So who are you going to call? Ghostbusters.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Whoa, hey.
Number
I'm already here.
3 for me would be the original Saw.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Not only is it your horror, gruesome movie, it was your first kind of really deep, gory horror film of the
New age.
mainstream
Okay.
of the mainstream films. Kind of brought him to the mainstream. Saw did. Plus, it feels like an old school detective movie, kind of.
Yeah, I can see that.
At least the first one does. Number 2 for me would be the episode the movie we covered last week, the original Scream from 1996.
Hey, always good.
And then, just like you today, Ed, number 1 for me is John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978. It just isn't Halloween unless you see that movie a couple times.
At least, yeah, I mean, and that's been to me as well. Simple as that.
And
Just,
I feel like when this new Halloween comes out on Blu-ray and 4K, I don't think I'm going to watch any of the other ones. I think it's just going to be the
One
original
and
and
two.
this one.
Yeah. 1 and technical 2. Just
So,
to follow up.
everything about that is always good. Now it's time for the meat and potatoes.
Man,
A little
cut
bit of
that in, you know,
little bit of beef and broth.
a little bit of beef in my life.
So now it's time for what we've all been waiting for, and we're going to cover and talk about 2018's Halloween.
Definitely.
The film starts out classic and kind of eerie and creepy, if you ask me. The movie starts off with these two guys, this one guy and this one girl, who have a podcast. And the lady is Dana Haynes, played by Rhiannon Reese. She has done some stuff like she was Emma in Disengaged. Other than that, a lot of her other films were British-like films. And then her partner, Ray, played by Toby Huss, who was in James Bosworth, Spook. He was in a few episodes of King of the Hill as a voiceover. So these two guys are going in pretty much doing a podcast and writing stories of past serial killers. So they're going to visit Michael at Smith Grove before he gets transferred to a other facility, if you will. What do they have in their bag that they try to provoke Michael and get him to probably snap or at least have some kind of motion out of him, and they pull out the mask.
Yeah, the mask of all things, which, you know, maybe it's just a day for him. I mean, maybe, you know, that's his Christmas, you know what I mean, and his presents are kills, I guess you'd say. So he got quite a few presents, we'll call it today, on October 31st. And actually, I like that they actually put this in real time, well, kind of real time, because if you noticed, the boyfriend actually had 10/31/2018 on his shoulder. That's what I find funny about that. But no, you could tell there was a bit of chemistry between the two. On top of that, they were basically investigative journalists doing a podcast to shed light on some cases that have actually like gone cold. Serial killer cases, murder cases, simple as that, is what they predominantly did. And they went to Michael. The opening shot is of them going into Smiths Grove Sanitarium to see Michael, and the end of it is the little trailer clip that you get with them producing the mask to Michael. And Michael, I mean, honestly, he's got to be probably 65 or so, 60, 65. And I mean, he didn't seem much slowed down at all, for that matter. Very, very strong, very just able to do whatever he wanted to pretty much anything, anybody. On top of that, he seemed to not really care about who was there, what was going on, what was happening for that matter, at all. They produced the mask. He didn't even look. He didn't look left, right, nothing. Which the doctor kept trying, and same with, Toby Huss's character kept trying, and nothing. Literally nothing came out of it. So, that's the opening shot, and then it goes to the actual title scene and goes from there.
And then you get introduced to Lori all over again.
Yep.
They go and interview Lori, and she's just not having it. She's pretty much, if you want to ask me, she's spot on almost with her character from H2O.
Definitely.
She's an alcoholic. She's got relationship issues.
Right.
But the only difference between this Lori and H2O Lori is this Lori is a badass.
Yeah, definitely. She was a little bit back then, but
she's got everything. She pretty much lives in a prison. And one thing I like to point on that this movie made me realize is that what Michael did not only put him behind bars, but it messed her up and put her behind bars.
Definitely. And I've got to say, she's kind of a mistress of tactical warfare, to be honest, because she has mannequins that she shoots at for targets, and she was total badass. She was slinging that Winchester, oh man, like it was nothing, just popping round after round after round off, like she was just having a little heyday. It was headshot, 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 headshot. It was awesome to me.
And then you get reintroduced to the rest of the cast. Like we touched on earlier, Karen is her daughter, Allison is her granddaughter, and you just get completely introduced to a whole sea of new characters. The boyfriends are in here. One kid I would like to touch up on, and we're gonna jump we're gonna jump just a little bit, is Julian. Julian is played by Jabril Nanatumbu. I really don't know if I'm saying that right, but he was in Preacher in 2016. Those are the only two things he's done.
Yeah, he's still a relatively young kid. I wouldn't put him older than 13, if that, for that matter.
No, so, but he's got a hilarious scene in Halloween. Also,
about halfway through.
Another thing we didn't touch on the Did You Know is that PJ Souls is the teacher's voice when Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter is sitting in class.
Yeah, which I find it funny because it's Nightmare, it's Scream, it's Halloween. Every one of them that has had a classroom scene, they're always in the back left. Back left, last desk.
Right next to the window.
Right next to the window. But see, the original looked out, or Lori looked out, and it was
Michael
Myers standing there. This time, Allison looks out, and it is Laurie Strode standing there. But instead of a stalker man, well, she's a little bit of a stalker,
yeah,
but it's more of a protective, watching over angel kind of deal. But
and then,
I understand, but still,
we're going right quick. We're not going to go scene by scene, but we will touch on some of the major scenes of the film. Like everybody probably wants to know, how did Michael break out? Well, now we get introduced to the new Loomis, the Doctor, if you will, is played by Haluk Billinger. Again, if I'm butchering your name, it's not on purpose. Dr. Sartan, played by Haluk Billinger, is Michael's doctor and has been Michael's doctor since technically the the 80s is what they're trying to do. And he took over for Dr. Sam Loomis, and he is just kind of he's too involved with Michael. He's overprotective.
Yeah.
He is also obsessed with Michael Myers, and Dr. Loomis was obsessed, but when we say obsessed, you'll know here in a little bit why we say obsessed.
Loomis was more obsessed to basically
keep him behind bars.
Keep him.
This doctor
underground.
is obsessed, almost in like a fascination kind of obsession with Michael. And you get introduced to him, and they put Michael on a bus, and he's supposed to go to almost like a straight prison, how Smith Grove is for psychiatric care, and nobody's getting through to Michael, so they're just going to send him to I think a state federal penitentiary until he dies.
Which they were saying that'd be good, basically. So
this doctor has just got to get on the bus that Michael's getting on, and we are about to touch on the scene that he escaped. Pretty much you see this truck drive up with this country old hick and his little son, and you see the bus crashed, and all the little
patients and
all the
all
little
that.
retards are just lined up in the street, roaming like a bunch of cows. I mean, psychotic kids, whatever they're called. And they're just lined up, roaming free, kind of like in the first Halloween movie. And all hell breaks loose from there. Michael kills, and he kills. And we find it fascinating that he's out of his shackles. He didn't break them off because he has no cuffs on with loose chains. So we'll touch on this in a little bit later on, but Michael's free. He kills a kid. He gets to a gas station, so he finds his overalls, and he kills the two people that he met in the beginning of the movie with the mask. So he finds his mask back, and as soon as he puts that mask on, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, he's like a soldier without a cause, basically. He knows exactly what he wants to do, where he needs to go, and how to do it, basically. He just needs to get there. And he basically takes their car to get there. Simple.
And I'm going to touch a little bases with Scream 2, with Jamie Kennedy's character, and still a little line from Scream 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sequel, so that means the body count is always bigger.
Oh, man, definitely.
The kill scenes are always gruesome.
Right.
And the killer is almost like he's superhuman.
Yeah.
Supernatural. So I find it funny that some of these rules that Jamie Kennedy stated in Scream 2, they use for this Halloween movie. So with this being said, that this film has everything you need as far as a huge, big budget horror movie.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the thing about this one is, okay, the first one was pretty believable. I mean, literally like a guy going around killing people, like, pretty believable. This one was very believable itself too. I mean, the only thing that overdone was the sheer power Michael had. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, I know a couple older guys, like my grandfather actually, who has a hell of a grip. I mean, a hell of a grip. And he's 72, so I can imagine definite grip, but the sheer strength it took to do some of the things he did in this movie was just unfathomable. I mean, literally.
With it being well written, though, I can definitely see them maybe getting ready to start up another one, and we'll touch bases with the last few scenes here in a short second. But going back and looking at this Halloween, what would probably, if you had to pick your top 3 favorite scenes in this movie, what would your top 3 favorite scenes probably be?
Honestly, the end scene, the end, like, fight, basically, that was well put together, well choreographed, kind of a... Oh, man, I just can't seem to think how calculated Laurie Strode or Jamie Lee Curtis's character was.
Brutal.
I mean, she was a planning mug for a long time. I mean, 40 years is a long time, so, you know... But she was tactical warfare for days. I've got to say, the killing of the actual 2 interviewers or the podcasters. Don't get that idea. No, I've got to say that was one that was pretty cool to me. That showed just the rage of Michael. Simple as that.
That's the first.
True killing scene, I guess you'd say, in the entire movie.
It was brutal.
I mean, literally, he took a damn, probably 5-pound sledgehammer, a small sledgehammer mallet type tool, and waylaid the hell out of that guy to get that uniform. Michael doesn't pay for shit. And then probably the third one. I mean, honestly, I know that this is one of yours, but the babysitter scene was pretty hilarious, pretty good. Good. You know, even throwback to the original movie for that matter. So good all the way around on that scene, definitely.
And then one of the other, I would have to say my top three would probably be the opening scene,
Yeah.
where they go into Smith Grove. You don't know what to expect. You really don't know if Michael's going to react or not. And they pull out that mask and they just keep harping and harping. And all the other crazies are going crazy and wild. And it's kind of awkward feeling, if you ask me.
It's kind of like a old friend coming back after, you know, a 10-year reunion kind of deal, and then saying hi to him again after you haven't seen him for
And
a
then
while.
my second scene would be the babysitter scene.
Yeah.
Because you can tell that it was written by two comedy geniuses when you have a 5 to 10 minute comedy scene.
Yeah.
And it's gold, and it's one of the only things. It's one of the better scenes throughout the whole movie, and it's a horror movie.
Definitely, and I mean, a lot of it's got to deal with the kid, too. I mean, she was pretty funny herself.
Right.
But,
I think it was more the kid's accent, but it was so well written. And the dialogue was just...
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. When he said, you know, oh, I know what you're talking about, and she's like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, the weed, and she's like, oh no, it's a magic trick like abracadabra, and he's like, I'm not stupid, I know exactly what you mean.
I'm over here cutting my nasty ass toenails.
Yeah, well, I'm cutting my nasty ass toenails, and he's just like, she actually tells him that she is basically going to, what was it? She's going to, or he tells her that he's going to expose them and to mom and dad. She says, well, if you're going to get me in trouble, I'm going to get you in trouble. I'm going to let them know about your browser history. And oh man, he just shut the hell up right then and there.
And then my other favorite scene would probably be the second to final scene, and we'll go ahead and touch bases on it right quick, where Michael gets in, Michael gets flamed up.
Man.
The bars closed down, and you think the entire time that it is a barricade you pretty much think it's a safe room the entire time during the movie. But at the end of the movie, you see that the bars come up and the gas just starts going off, and the flames ignite, and it's a trap for Michael the entire time. And my favorite scene throughout this whole movie would be when Michael's down there and he's about to get blown to pieces or burned to pieces. He's about to get just flamed up, and he's looking straight dead at Jamie Lee Curtis. He's looking Laurie Strode and her family, and you kind of get that feeling that it's over.
Right, and yeah, it's
that's
creepy.
that would probably be my favorite scene, and it was one of the final scenes in the movie. So going back on what we were talking about, the doctor being completely obsessed with Michael Myers, is during the movie, the sheriff, well, he's not the sheriff, the officer played by Will Patton actually runs down Michael and looks like he's getting his gun out, he's going to put a bullet in his head and it's going to be over. But the doctor gets out a scalpel, like a knife,
pin,
and he just wails in on Will Patton and just slices his throat all to hell. And the doctor just puts on the mask, Myers' mask, and puts him in the back of he's saving him. So this entire time where you think he's obsessed throughout the whole movie, but man, he's this obsessed where he's killing for Michael and trying to save him and protect him, and he's now trying to drive him to Laurie Strode's house.
Well, I mean, the reason he actually gives for that is because, he took over after Samuel Loomis died, is what they said. And the fact of the matter is he says he's never seen Michael in the wild, basically in civil population and murdering. So he basically wants to see that, which is, I'm sorry, they didn't have a freaking psych evaluation for him. Like, damn, dude, I understand wanting to know your patients, but shit, it's pretty crazy. Do you have any favorite kills, for that matter?
Yeah, we'll touch up on some favorite kills. Right quick before we get ready to, put a bow on this episode, is, you want to go through favorite kills. My top three, if I had to pick, at least, well, I won't do top three, but I'll pick a few scenes. One of them is going to be the killing of kind of the chubby nerdy kid.
Oh yeah.
Where he's in the
The
backyard
boyfriend's friend, that
and the
tries
lights
to hit
go
up
off and
the house.
on, and Michael gets him, and he's just
At first, he's like, "Oh, hey, it's the old man."
he's
that
just hanging
owns and-
hanging on the gate, and it's this. It's one of the. It's the last teenage kill, and the actor is played by Drew Sheed,
Yeah.
and he's in a few movies. He's in Goosebumps 2.
Huh.
He's in The Darkest Minds. He plays a sweaty teen boy in Stranger Things Season 2.
Oh, there you go.
So, a lot of these guys in this film, also the boyfriend, and then Dave, they're all played by young actors. So they don't really have a lot of filmography, if you will.
Right.
My other favorite kill was, which I didn't think they were going to do it, was when Michael was in the back of the truck closer to the beginning of the film and killed the teenage boy.
Which one are you talking about?
He killed the teenage boy after they broke out of the bus.
Oh, okay.
The kid with the
little boy.
shotgun that was looking for.
Actually, I don't even think he was 10. I think he may have been only 10, if that. But yeah, he was young.
That was one of my other favorite scenes. And then probably it's not really innovative, but my other favorite scene would probably be when this girl, just a random woman, is on the phone in her house, and Michael walks into the back of the house.
Yeah.
And she's about to look out the window, and he just pulls her neck back, kind of yanks it really hard, just stabs her right in the back of the throat, and the knife goes through the throat.
And I mean, it probably goes 4 inches out of her throat, literally. So I mean,
if you had a few to name, what would be some of your favorite kill scenes?
Honestly, I did like that one with her because she shut the blinds, and all of a sudden he grabbed her ponytail and just shoved that thing through the entirety of her neck, for that matter. So that's got to be one of mine. The other is kind of I think I'm wanting to say it's a little Easter egg throwback to the original, where he takes Dave, you don't see Dave get killed at first until about 20 minutes after he's basically dead. You know he's going to die, but you don't see it. Well, basically, he walks around the corner and leaves, and the cops come in, and you see a body hanging. I think it's an ode back to the first original movie, because literally he's stabbed through his entire body and just left there to hang while the knife is still in his body. And it's the boyfriend Dave. That one was pretty cool, I've got to say. On top of that, you don't see this one either, but the mechanic that is running the desk at the shop, the one he actually takes the teeth from, you literally see that guy's jaw ripped apart.
That was a pretty gruesome scene. I did enjoy that scene.
Real bad, for that matter. And last but not least, I'd say when he went into the bathroom and killed both of the reporters, man, the bashing of that guy's head against the stall was just, that was horrible. And he was still alive for a bit after that too. He really was. Actually seen her die too. So that was pretty gruesome, I've got to say.
This one was a lot more darker, gruesome, and more bloody than the original one.
Yes.
Which, of course, you got to update with time, so we're not... there's nothing really to bash this movie. I did have one small thing, and that was, I thought the ending fight scene...
Right.
But when Jamie Lee Curtis and the family finally got to her bunker house, her prison-like house... it did kind of feel like it dragged just a little bit, for the simple fact that, Jamie Lee Curtis almost got her head broken against her own door.
Yeah.
He pretty much beat the shit out of her during the entire scene.
Even threw her out of it. Yeah.
Threw her out the window. I did feel like that was a bit much. Like, she did take a very gruesome ass beating.
Oh, yeah.
So I did feel like that dragged just a little bit. Not too much to bash the movie at all. But to me, if I had to pick one negative thing about it, it would be that.
I've got to say, and like even touching with that scene when the daughter was kind of crying out to her mom when Michael was standing at the top of the bunker stairs, I thought that was pretty dang good because, I thought she was literally like
Where she was saying she can't do it, she's giving
Yeah.
up, she can't shoot, yeah.
Yeah, and then he steps right in front of her like, haha, yeah, I'm gonna blah blah blah. And then
Well,
all of a sudden she's like surprised.
It kind of felt like it was just a trick, though, because throughout the whole movie, you hear Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter say this is what she trained for.
Yeah.
She knew how to shoot a gun at age 8, so you kind of knew that it was kind of just a little trick up her sleeve.
Right. And I mean, honestly, like with me, it's just, to me, I felt maybe she didn't want to kill someone, even if it was her or him. But yeah.
If you had to pick one character, actor as well, that you didn't like throughout the movie, who would it be?
Probably Rick. And the main reason I say that, and
Rick is
Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode's son-in-law, or Karen's husband. And the main reason is because I felt like he was over dick. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like he was too, I'm hip, I'm still rad, even though I'm in my fucking, like, late 30s, early 40s. He
looked a lot older than that. He almost looked like he could have been Jamie Lee Curtis's ex-husband.
Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, it just, felt too much.
I can agree with that.
Until the last part of before his demise, then he felt more empathetic, and then he felt more like when his last thing with Cameron.
I see your point, but I think they picked somebody like that to be more of.
Oh no, he played it. But
no, but I think they picked somebody like an actor that way, and they wrote a character like him to be that way, so you could see that Jamie Lee Curtis and Karen, which is her daughter in the film, they have bigger balls than he does.
Right, and I mean, don't get me wrong,
that's
like,
what they were shooting for.
He kind of was
a puss.
Yeah, I mean, in all essential.
I didn't agree with the cast. I didn't agree with the casting there because he felt a lot older than Judy Greer, the actor who played Karen. And honestly, if I had to pick just one character or actor that I didn't really necessarily like in the movie, it probably would have been the actress who played the granddaughter.
Oh, Allison? Okay.
I could probably live without. They're introducing her. This is one of her first big movies, so I can see why they picked somebody so young.
Yeah.
But if I could, it's still nothing to bash the movie about.
Oh no.
So we went through our favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Some of our characters we didn't really care too much for. I think I know the answer to this next one. If you had to pick a favorite character, would you do with Michael, Jamie, or none of the above?
Jamie, like, Laurie, I get how she was traumatically, going. Michael was a fantastic edge back to what I guess his beginnings were. Simple as that. I've got to say, I liked Allison a little bit. I thought she played alright. But, yeah, I'm going to have to say I liked Michael's character because it seemed like he had a little more of a personality. Like, he didn't just walk around. Essentially he did, but it just seemed like he had more of a motive, more gusto to go on, basically. Like, he had a mission, basically. It wasn't just, I want to kill. It was like it was a mission, basically. Like, I'm going to get the bitch that got away from me, basically.
And they touched on that. One of the small little jokes, the chubby kid who tried to hit on Laurie's granddaughter who ended up getting killed.
Yep.
He says something to Michael. He's like, "Have you ever had that girl that you just couldn't get and you just think about her all the time?" I thought that was pretty funny.
Then Michael kind of disappears and then goes in front of him a little bit. That was pretty good.
So we picked our favorite scenes. Let's talk a quick bit about the ending here. We won't spend too much time on it because we know all you guys want to go out there and see the movie. The ending. Michael gets flamed. He gets torched. He kind of dies in this one the way you think he dies in Halloween 2.
Right.
In the hospital where he just gets caught, he's burning, gets caught on fire, and he dies.
Yeah.
At the end of the film, he's pretty much just a barbecue chicken leg right now. He's supposedly burned up, dead. At the end of the film, it's almost got a Texas Chainsaw Massacre like ending.
Yeah.
They find a truck speeding down the road. They stop. They all three get in the back of the truck, and they're gone.
They leave.
It's over. They're leaving, and it focuses in on Jamie, and then the camera gets a little closer to the granddaughter, Allison. It gets closer and down by in her left hand.
Yeah.
It's the big old butcher knife that she used to stab Michael, and she hasn't let it go, and she's grasping it really
tight,
hard.
yeah, clinging onto it.
So there, right there, is an ending that tells you,
There's a possible.
did he pass down anything to her? And if that's the case, they really don't mention that she is family. They say that, oh, that was just a rumor that somebody made up so they can continue to live on with their happy life.
Right.
So apparently it's just a rumor. They may or may not they may not even write another one. This might be just it.
Honestly.
And the credits after while the credits were rolling, you said you heard Michael was still breathing.
Yeah, he just.
You could hear the breathing like you could at the end of Halloween 1.
Yeah.
And that right there tells everybody that, hey, the man still is breathing. There's all kinds of ways you can fantasy book this thing. I did like how they kind of touched on Michael has some kind of mark on him.
Yeah.
But you didn't really see the mark.
No, and they didn't explain what it was either.
So they literally left this wide open if they want to do this. And I know Blumhouse has been doing a tremendous work on some horror movies lately. One of the ones that really stick out in my mind is Don't Breathe, which if you guys haven't checked that out, check it out. Don't Breathe. And that'll pretty much take us to this next ad right quick is Vudu. If you haven't downloaded Vudu, I still recommend you download Vudu.
Strongly suggested.
And you can watch all kinds of movies. You have a quick few second ads before and after the movie. And, man, there's hundreds and hundreds of free movies on there. All you have to do is download the app.
Boom, and that's it. And I mean, honestly, it's even like watching YouTube, because YouTube has, little ads every, 5 to 10 minutes, if that. So, yeah, it's not much different, but full-length, actual, raw, rated R, hardcore movies, then you've got, just the real editions of it, not a cut-up, jumbled one like TV. So definitely go and download that. I know I have, and I've enjoyed the hell out of it so far.
And then if you noticed, as the house and the room that he's locked in starts catching fire, the small house that she has in that room, is that of the Strode house?
I think so.
Or is that of the house that she was babysitting Tommy in?
Truthfully, I'm not sure, but
I don't remember. It could be either one of those two houses.
Yeah, it really could, because it just doesn't.
Why would she have that house there?
Not only that, but every shot is meaningful. It means something. They're not just going to show it for no reason.
And we overtalked this word in the first Halloween episode, in the original one, and the word that we overused was organic. Everything about the original Halloween movie just felt organic.
Yeah.
It felt like it just sank together. And this Halloween 2018, it was the same thing. The kills were bigger, badder, gorier. The score was darker. It was more rock-like.
Yeah.
And it was just stinging right there with you the entire time. You felt every single jump scare.
Yeah.
All the jump scares to me were on point. And I could not get any. I can't praise this movie anymore. It made $71 million opening night. It still has
7.1.
It still has 3 more nights to go.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, one thing I was wanting to do was keep count of all the kills.
And you said it was, what, about 18?
Well, if you count Michael, 18. If you don't count Michael, 17.
So
because
we'll go
you're
with
not
17 because you don't know if he's dead.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're not 100% sure. So if Michael is dead, in fact, deceased,
Well,
18,
we'll still go with
17.
Because the actual kills by Michael were 17.
Because it was only about, 5,
Did
6
you
in the
include
original?
the kill that the doctor did to the officer?
No. I included singularly Michael Myers' hand. The blood on I singularly included Michael Myers' blood on his hand. The blood on his hand. Simple as that.
Oh, that's
just
another
his.
scene I want to let the audience know right quick before we leave.
Definitely.
Is when Jamie Lee Curtis just stabbed the fuck out of Michael Myers' hand.
No. She blew his fingers off, his
shot
pinky
it,
and
that's
ring
right.
with the shotgun, because that's the only reason she got away from him. When he was crushing her at the door, she was trying to aim that pump shotgun and basically caught his hand.
He looked like a gremlin.
Yeah, he had 3 fingers after that, just index, thumb, and middle, and that's it. He can still flip somebody off though. That's good. No.
But this movie definitely had a bunch of gore that the first and the original one didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We will throughout the week we will post some reactions. If any of you guys go see it, we will find some statements and some thoughts on John Carpenter. Hopefully, he's got some thoughts out there. We would love to share them with you.
Definitely.
And to see what he thought about the movie. Other than that, man, what is the legend of Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis after this movie?
Blood, guts, ass, and just kick ass.
Do you think that it's over? And if so, if so, what will you remember most about the ending of this film? And the two legends, pretty much you have David versus Goliath.
Basically. Yeah, basically, like, if it is truly and in fact the finale of the entire series, whether it's just that one and the original or all of them incarnate, that's a great ending. I mean, honestly, it really, really is. Of course, we've seen Michael beheaded, we've seen Michael shot, stabbed, thrown out of stuff, burned. We've seen Michael go through it all and stay alive. So, man, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's the end, because I think if this movie does good enough, I think there will be a sequel to this one. Simple as that. Yeah, I've got to say, with the remembrance of what legacy it is, or whatever have you, at first Laurie was a simple babysitter, college or a high school girl just coming into her own, and then now she is a full-on tactical warfare badass that just, maybe she isn't as strong as Michael, but she sure is smarter.
If they do make another one, it would be interesting to see what kind of story they bring into it. What Jamie, if she's rebounded back and if she's went back to her life, because she's straight up a tactical alcoholic in this movie.
Basically, and I mean, honestly, you can't come back from 40 years of that.
No, she's living every day in fear. But it is really nice to see Jamie Lee Curtis be Laurie Strode again.
Yeah, it was really cool and truly Laurie Strode, not a played off version that gets killed in the first 4 minutes. But yeah, definitely.
That movie doesn't exist. Halloween Resurrection, ladies and gentlemen. If you have that copy in your collection, LeBron James it, go ahead and get it out, set it on fire, and throw it away, because Halloween Resurrection, you are dead. Do you hear me? Dead to me.
But yeah, definitely
dead.
thought it was a good new adaptation to it.
We're gonna get ready to hit our star rating here before too long. Halloween 2018. Man, there's nothing negative you can say about this movie. If you had to rate it, I rated the original Halloween a 10. I think you gave it a 9.
Yeah.
So if you had to rate Halloween 2018, what would you rate it?
I'd go with an 8.5. Solid 8, but I personally 8.5. I thought it was pretty damn good. Very few things that I'd want. Solid writing by Danny McBride and David Gordon Green. Solid. Simple. How about you? What would your rating truly be?
My rating, I would go ahead and give it a solid 8.5.
Okay.
There's no other way you can put it. To me, Halloween 1978, is always going to be a 10 out of 10 for me. It's always going to be the better of the two. But I think I'm also a little bit biased about that.
Well, you know.
But
lots of people are. Because I've heard mixed reviews on this so far of what people are saying. But, yeah.
If they have mixed reviews about this, just go ahead and watch Resurrection, because that will probably entertain you. This one, to me, balances the good and the evil between the two.
Yeah.
You definitely see a side of Laurie you have never, ever seen before. So, in all reactions, like, this, to me, is just, it doesn't get any better than this. I went in, you know how we usually talk about, you go in with an open mind.
Clear
Try
mind,
not to go in
yeah.
with a...
Pig attitude, stuck up attitude,
Right.
basically. Yeah.
I went in kind of just excited to see this movie, and I just could not wait to see it, and I still enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly,
I couldn't go in not being hyped about it.
I did too. I tried to be more of a observation and a critic, an observant critic is what I tried to be. Just so A, I wanted to do good on this. B, I wanted to see it because I wanted to see it. Simple. And C, I wanted to catch little things. And I mean, we did. So yeah, I think it definitely go see it. Simple as that. Definitely just go see it. Have your open mind. Have your own mind for yourself. See it. Maybe wait for the Blu-ray. Whatever have you. But if you love horror, if you liked the original and you didn't like some of the others, and you wanted a true direct sequel, this is it. This is your breath of fresh air. This is your second. This is your sequel. This is your redeeming of the series, I guess you could say. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I'll probably go watch again.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely buy it as soon as it comes out. The day it comes out, I'll go see it. I'll go buy it again. Or I'll go see it again, and I'll buy it. So I gave it an 8.5. You gave it an 8.
Yep.
I think this wraps up our Halloween 2018 episode.
Definitely. I think it was good. I think it was a strong one.
But our podcast isn't over, because now that October is over, we're getting into all kinds of movies.
Yeah, definitely. I am excited. Not because I don't like the horror genre, but I don't want to burn myself out of it and not like it. Simple as that. So I am very excited to move on. And especially to, honestly, one that I haven't seen, Indiana Jones.
So what are we looking ahead to next? It is our next episode, November 2nd. Rockstar presents Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is one of my all-time favorite movies. It is a classic. It is the movie, to me, that made Harrison Ford the man he is. I know I'm going to have a lot of people argue with me about Star Wars, but Indiana Jones is the man.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, it goes in hand. November 9th. Now, let's not forget about our bonus episode. Our bonus
Definitely.
episode will be coming to you next week, and it is The Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, directed by Sam Raimi. So that episode will be uploaded actually by the time you listen to this episode, it will already be loaded. So November 2nd is Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. November the 9th is the Richard Donner classic, The Goonies.
Boom.
November 16th is going to be Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Man, I'm looking forward to that one too. Love that movie.
If you guys vote, we will throw up a bonus episode for the month of November,
Boom.
and it will be. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a poll.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a poll. What do you guys want to see the bonus episode be? Do you want the bonus episode to be Fantastic Beasts 2?
There you go. That's one, definitely.
Or do you want the bonus episode to be Creed 2?
Right. Either one.
So whichever one you guys vote for, we're probably still going to go see both of them.
Fantastic Beasts.
In my pants.
Whoa.
Edit that.
Uh-oh.
Or do you want Creed 2? We will throw up the poll. That brings us to the November 23rd episode. Will be Creed. We break down long form all things about Creed and Rocky, starring the great Michael B. Jordan and Sylvester Sly Stallone. Speaking of Sylvester Stallone, November 30th, we round out November with the original Rocky movie that won Best Picture, that put Sylvester Stallone on the map. Sly wrote and pretty much was casted and starred as Rocky. Also stars Tyler Shear and Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed. December 7th, we start off with 8 Crazy Nights.
Oh, looking forward to that one.
Written by Adam Sandler, starring Adam Sandler. I'm in love with Adam Sandler.
That's a technical foul.
What do you want the bonus episode of December to be? Do you want it to be The Grinch?
That would be good.
Or do you want it to be Aquaman? So
Oh,
those
right,
are going to be
right.
Those are going to be the 2 bonus episodes for December, and that leads us to December 14th. We will be talking about all things DC films. It was going to be just a Justice League episode, but man, we're going to just have to do a roundtable of Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Justice League, and Wonder Woman.
Definitely.
It's good. That'll probably be a 4-hour episode. That might be a 3-hour episode. So December 14th will be everything DC films, and then our Christmas episode will be Santa Claus, the original Tim Allen movie,
Looking forward to that one. Love that movie.
and A Christmas Story.
That's always a good one. So,
So-
don't stick your tongue to any polls before then.
And don't get too
After.
close to me; you'll poke your eye out.
That too, and hey, always enjoy a good cup of hot chocolate in that cold season.
And then we will round out the year with Pulp Fiction, December 28th. Edward, do you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France?
A Royale with cheese.
So the final episode of December of the year will be Pulp Fiction, starring John Travolta, Samuel Jackson, Bruce Willis, Harvey Keitel,
Man,
and directed and written by the great Quentin Tarantino.
stuff's always crazy in his universe, man. Always.
So, man, we just released some big news this month. We got 2 sponsors. Eagle One Pizza, the official pizza of the Cine-Men movie podcast. And then if you need something to drink and if you need some energy,
Yeah,
why not
definitely
just
reach out for that rock star.
get some Rockstar in you.
Boom.
The rated R Rockstar. So, with all things Halloween coming to an end, what a movie. I don't think it could have been any better. It met my expectations, and it was well worth the $9 spent.
Yeah, definitely. Loved it.
Danny McBride and the director. Why this song wasn't included in the film, I don't know.
Just move on
Don't
from nuance.
don't say,
I guess.
I wish this song was in the movie. They
would've
could
been
have
cool.
found 30 seconds to play it in.
It would've
This
been
this
cool.
would have been the perfect song to play while the truck was going off and they were in the back of the truck.
Oh man, that definitely. Oh,
Right?
yeah, I can see that 100%. Well, missed applications.
Maybe
of
they'll
genius.
save it for Halloween 60 years later.
Oh my god.
Michael has made his way to the retirement home. And Jamie Lee Curtis
Kills
is
bitches
wheeling
in
her
wheelchairs.
wheelchair in there. Michael, I got some pudding.
Oh my god. Throws it at his ass.
Don't forget, join us November 2nd, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm Johnny Reel.
I'm Edward Silverscreen signing out.
And don't forget, we'll see you November 2nd for all things Indiana Jones, right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.